Hey guys, it's early morning here on a Saturday, and I'm preparing for Bill's arrival. He hasn't been here in a while, and I have lots for him to do. He said he's going to be here about a half day, so the first thing I had to do was take out part of the fence. So up here at the top, I took out this and realized this oleander's in the way. And I know I've been told by lots of you that oleander is poisonous, and I know that. But what I learned through teaching, being taught, was that animals pretty much know when something is good for them or not. And I've told you my experience with chickens. Well, now I have, other than being taught, I have actual experience with them not eating things that they're not supposed to eat. The other day, I've kept this oleander pretty trimmed off where it wasn't going into the pasture, so they couldn't, Ollie noticed, especially, and Daisy, couldn't eat it. And yesterday, I saw Ollie, there was two leaves that were sticking through the wire, and Ollie nibbled it. And as soon as he nibbled it, he spit it out and just left. And he's fine. But I've tried to dig it out. It's not an easy job. So I'm going to see if Bill can wrap a chain around it and yank it out with the tractor today. We'll see. So I took this fence down so he could pull it that way. And then I took this section of fence out because in case he can't pull out the oleander, he really can't get through there. So I took this section out so he could. I've also, I'm not sure if you can see it, these branches, I've got them ringing what will be the pond, so Bill knows where to cut and dump. So coming over here, pond will end here. This is going to be the flat portion for our big water mill. And then this would be the back of that, so he can start shoving dirt down here, because the ultimate goal is to make this slump off not so steep, which means we've got to build this up a little bit here, but further this way so it can be slumped off more shallowly. And so the whole pond is being pushed that way. So that is going to have to be cut and pulled to this side. I don't know if any of that makes sense on camera. It makes sense in my head, and Bill's usually pretty good about understanding what I'm thinking. So kind of in the middle of the span, which would be about right here, I would like to keep this the level of the land. That doesn't change. So then on this side, to the right of that, we would have to dig down, and to the left of that, we would have to build up. My biggest goal for today is when he leaves, actually have an outline of the future pond, because it's kind of been this little crater here for a while because we had to have that big pad for the dump trucks to bring in all this dirt. So hopefully by the end of today, I'll be able to look out here and see where the pond's going to be, and that'll kind of help me mentally process through all the next steps for that area, which won't be right now, they'll be later. And I'm very blessed to have some amazing friends like Bill. My friend Joel is coming over again today, and if you see, there's been some activity out here. I've started putting in a sprinkler system for the lawn. So I added a second set of valves here. I'm just realizing I put one on backwards. I have to flip that around. And so there will be two pipes coming out here. One pipe will do all the way to the stairs, and then the other pipe will run next to it, and it will start here and water the rest going all the way up. So Joel's going to be here to help me today with that, finish that sprinkler system, and then I think at some point next week we should be laying the sod, and I cannot wait to see that finishing touch to this area, because like I said before, as many flowers that are up here, when there's dirt along the front, it still makes me think of the cactus garden that used to be here. It's the next day, and going down to feed the animals, and then once we do that, I'll let you see all the work we got done here this weekend, and it's a lot, and then what's on the plan for today. Morning, everyone. Come on out. They're still somewhat timid around us. They're getting much better, but they hide behind Daisy like she's their mom.
Hey guys, I hope I'm doing this right. I'm trying to sneak this video in. I wanted to see if I could get your guys' help. As you know, we hit our 1 million subscribers, and thank you so much, all of you that have been so supportive of us for all of these years. We truly appreciate it. So I'd like to put together a little video for Brian. If there's anything that you'd like to say to Brian, maybe something that you've learned from him or how things have changed since you started watching him, I'm thinking maybe about 5 to 10 seconds because we're just going to do little snippets. But check the description below and there'll be some instructions on how you can get it to us. So thank you so much and bye.
So that was some video of Bill yesterday, getting a lot done. Prior to his arrival, I mapped out where I want the pond to actually be, and it's a big pond. It's not, he's got pretty much the outline dug out now. It's going to go deeper, and the edges will be kind of refined a little bit. Okay, I got to get way back for you to see the whole thing. So if you can see, there's branches in a line that I kind of lined up going this way. So he hasn't dug out all the way there yet. So there's more to dig out on that side. And you can see we started cutting into the pad that was there for the dump trucks. He had to leave kind of a ramp to get down into right now. So that's not dug out completely yet. So here on this pad is where eventually our water wheel mill will go. Yep, that's right. And then coming up here and looking back down, you can see the berm is going to come across there. We're actually, Emily thought of this. Well, I'll tell you that in a second. The berm that comes across is going to have trees on it. And then of course there'll be trees and bushes all along the outer perimeter fence to kind of give us a more secluded feeling. And then walking down here, this pad was only at this elevation to make it nice and flat for the dump trucks to come and back in here and dump their loads of dirt. However, this walk down to the corral from up here on this pad is quite steep. You can see looking up here. So if we lower that pad a couple of feet, we can lower this berm a couple feet as well and get this slant to be a little bit less. And I don't know if you remember, but right here there was a big deep pit. That's all filled in now. All this down here is now filled in and level. It's going to have to be kind of just worked up a little bit before we plant grass. And then he started to slump off the top part. This was like 2 terraces before, and we're going to try to make this into just a natural slope as well. So we're definitely getting closer as far as the pasture and pond are concerned. The pond, you know, it won't be filled up until probably this winter, maybe even spring. So Joel came over and helped me up in the cottage garden. And I think at the beginning of this video, it's been a couple of days, I had a trench dug around the perimeter of the cottage garden. Well, it's closed up and our sprinklers are all in all the way around. So what that means is today, well, the next step in the process of this lawn, and I want the sod delivered at the end of this week. So I got a lot of stuff to do before then. I have to shape this a little bit better, smooth it out. I got to take a couple of inches of soil off of here. So I'm going to use the rake. It's pretty softened because of the sprinkler system. I'm going to rake a lot of this excess dirt off to bring the soil level down 2 to 3 inches, because we're going to be putting gopher wire down, and then we're going to be putting topsoil on top of that, plus the sod, which is, you know, a good inch or 2. So that's going to bring off a lot of dirt, and I need to have a place to put that. Well, I do, but it's not ready yet. So it's going to have to be the first thing that I do. Look at these hydrangeas by the cottage. So you remember I put the bottom part of this wall in. It's going to be covered with hydrangeas eventually. Well, not too long actually. But I want them to be at this level, which means I need a raised bed here. And I'm going to fill that raised bed with all the soil that we take off of this perimeter of the front of the cottage garden. And then to make the raised bed, which I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be using the same stone that we have on the stairs. Number 1, because it matches. Number 2, because it all came free with the house when we bought it. It was here all the way down. I've torn it up here to put this wall in. And then we've got some more piled over by the shed. So why not make the most of it? So that's what I'm going to do first. Build that raised bed, then rake the dirt off and fill the raised bed, plant those hydrangeas, and then put the wire in for the lawn, topsoil, and then finally, toward the end of this week, this should have a nice emerald necklace of sod to set off all of the flowers in front of this cottage. So I drew out a line with some gypsum of where the lawn is going to go. So basically I just need to dig a footing and start with the brickwork. All right, I've got the footer dug. I've got a canopy set up so I can stay cool. Now just time to start laying the bricks. You ready to see it? Like that. So back here in the back, it's going to continue this way, but I don't have to worry about that right now. I just have to get these hydrangeas in. And then up here in the front, it will continue to the door of the cottage. So about, I don't know, maybe 2 hours work. Like it. So it's been quite a while since I filmed anything, and it's been even longer than that since I published a video to YouTube, and for that I apologize. It's been kind of a rough week. I think the last video I had out was last weekend, I think, and since then the weekend was great. Mainly what you've seen on this video so far is Monday. A week ago today. Today's Monday. It was last Monday. For those of you who've been watching for any amount of time, you know I've talked a few times about anxiety and my experience with anxiety, and just trying to, you know, shine a light on that and help others through it who are going through something like it. I had been doing really, really well the last few months. In fact, Monday, in taking breaks from building that hydrangea planter, I remember sitting there thinking to myself, it has been so long since I've had any health anxiety whatsoever. And I was like really proud of myself. Uh, and that was really short lived. That night, I don't even know what it was. It was almost like the stomach flu, but the intensity of the stomach flu compressed into like a 12-hour period. But thankfully, it didn't last longer than that. The flu feeling part of it, but it was intense. I was laying on the bathroom floor for a while, just the cold sweats and everything that comes with the stomach flu. But again, I don't know if it was a stomach flu. I was thinking at first it was exhaustion, because that day, that Monday, I realized that I was out working all day, and I had only had like 1,000 calories the whole day, and I got enough water though, so I don't know what it was, but that kind of messed my stomach up for the whole week. And when I have indigestion and stomach problems, other things come with it. One in particular is when I have a lot of gas up top. I can't believe I'm talking about all this stuff, but literally, if it helps one other person, when I have a lot of gas up top, my left arm gets numb and tingly. And 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever this happened, I thought I was having a heart attack. And I've since met people who have had a similar situation. They go to the ER, think they're having a heart attack. It ends up being acid reflux or something like I had. Now, if you have that, I'm not saying don't go to the ER. Obviously, it could be something life-threatening. And even though I knew what it was, it started kind of a cascade of anxiety throughout the whole week. Middle of the week, I had heard about somebody getting pancreatic cancer, and the first thing that they noticed was that they had kind of an onset of being lethargic. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just had that. Well, yeah, I had been sick. But my brain takes over, or my emotions take over, I don't know if it's my brain, and convince me that I have pancreatic cancer. And then, I thought I was having a heart attack. And so this whole week, it's just been high anxiety that I'm really trying to work. I had therapy for 3 years, and my biggest fear is going back to where I was and having to do all this work over again. So I've really been trying to talk myself through it and use the tools that I learned, and it sometimes works for a little bit. I remember 2 years ago when I did the last School of Traditional Skills class, the anxiety over that was so high that my legs were actually weak and tingly for almost a month after that. And 2 days ago, that started. It happened today. And so then I feel like, okay, I've got some kind of issue that's causing this. I don't know what it is, some disease. I don't know, guys. This is just how my brain works. And I keep logs of things like this because it helps to be able to physically see something that happened to me that's happening now that didn't result in death. And again, this is embarrassing to talk about, but I know there's other people out there who deal with this, and I just want to bring attention to it. Anxiety is so debilitating. I haven't done hardly any work since we filmed last, except on Saturday. Joel and Bill were already planning to come over, and so they did, and I'm so glad, because Saturday was great. Bill got a lot done, I'll show you in a second. Joel and I got a lot done, I'll show you in a second. But after that day, I did feel a lot better, because before that, I hadn't wanted to do anything at all. Anyway, enough of this. Anxiety is just something I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life, and just, cope with it. It's never going to be gone, I don't think. So if you have it, definitely get the tools, get therapy, because it does help. This, I'm hoping, within the next couple of days, it's just going to kind of peter its way out as I use the tools that I've learned, rather than go on for months and months and months. When Joel came over, we worked on, I think the last time I showed you, well, first of all, I got the hydrangeas planted in their new bed, and they look great. And if you see down here, we're ready, at least at this part, for the sod. We put gopher wire down, as I mentioned I was going to. So gopher wire all over the ground. We've got these bags of topsoil here that I'm going to put down. I did run out of wire, so we got it all the way to here. I ran out of wire. I got them just today. There's the 2 boxes. So hopefully tomorrow I'll finish up the wire. I had ordered the sod to be delivered tomorrow, but because of the way I was feeling, I just that was gonna be too soon. So it's now coming on Friday. So I have a few more days to be able to do that, and then maybe I'll have some help on Saturday to put the sod in. Bill was here, and he basically finished out the final shape outline of the pond. He also started the transition now of this slope to take these terraces out and just make this a little bit less of a slope. So all things considered, we did make progress. I was able to enjoy Father's Day yesterday. I hope everyone, all the fathers out there, had a good day. And I hope that the next time I check in with you, I'll be a little bit better anxiety-wise. I'm working on it. And like I said, I think it's just an ongoing process. So for those of you who also have anxiety, just hang in there. We'll get through it. It gets better. It always gets better. I'll see you next time.